these results have been finally published. We conducted this study last year. The aim of the study was to find the right dose at which we could get a stable infection rate in our healthy volunteers. We conducted this study together with Imperial and Royal Free. It was funded by the UK government. We did infect exactly 36 healthy volunteers, and we got 18 of the volunteers infected with the virus. So we were then able to study the pathway and the mechanism of action of the virus in our patients. And the goal is really to understand more about SARS-CoV-2 and what dose it allows us to kind of study the infected patients. And in the future, to build a really good model to help us in studying this pandemic. But the key thing here really was the fact that we were able to conduct a challenge study during a pandemic on a virus which was causing the pandemic. And as you know, last year, the restrictions were quite heavy, and our teams worked really hard in very trying circumstances to get this study done. The peer review is an independent process by which your data, your results, and your methodology and the conclusions you reach are reviewed by an independent group. This group is selected by Nature, in this case, by the journal who is publishing our data. And the fact that they have been peer reviewed means that it gives us added kind of assurances that our methodology and what we do is great, and science is robust. The data collection processes are right, and the conclusions have been driven by the data which justifies them. So for us, having our scientific community reviewing our data and passing them and allowing us to publish this in Nature means a lot for us. It does give us added reassurance that we are doing the right thing and the way things should be done. Of course, it means a lot. Nature is one of the most highly cited scientific journals in the world, and to have a paper published in that journal is hugely important for us. The fact that it's a challenge study has added an extra layer of importance. It highlights the challenge study model to a much greater audience. The fact this was the very first COVID trial challenge model also highlights that. And the fact that we were able to do this at hVIVO means that we highlight our expertise, scientific, logistic, and so on. But I think on a more high important level, it wasn't just done for business development purposes or to increase our profile. We wanted to play a role in fighting the pandemic, and the fact that we had that chance to be able to study this virus during a very hard pandemic, and that was something that we had to take part in. So we hope that the work that we have done and our teams have done have given the general public and the scientists a certain level of confidence that hopefully in future we will be better prepared in fighting a future pandemic. Of course, it's great news that the restrictions are being lifted or already lifted in certain parts of the world. But unfortunately, that does not mean that it is the end of the pandemic. The virus is still out there. You see pockets of increases in surges in infection rates in different parts of the world. And this may still continue. We still don't know what the future holds for the virus. It's unlikely to disappear in the near future. It could evolve into a different variant. And we believe that the further studies are still required. Now, the first generation of vaccines were amazing. The rates of efficacy they had was something that nobody was expecting, and that was hugely benefit in fighting the first wave. But we also know now, considering how many fully vaccinated patients are still being infected with the Omicron virus, that the antibodies are waning. So we don't know how many boosters we will require as we go forward. So absolutely, there is still further need for getting better, longer-term treatment for us. And as somebody has mentioned already, or a lot of scientists have already mentioned, the fact that this could be a long-term virus that we have to live with, just like influenza. So the need to study the virus and to produce better vaccines and antivirals is still out there.